Hello, everybody. Welcome to the fifth episode of Is This a Podcast? And again, it's already Sunday, and we're back. We don't have any other job, and that's it. This is the only time I speak with Vishnu, like we had, mentioned last week. So give it up for Vishnu Ravi Prasad, everybody.
Hello, hello. Location change. Nice.
Mine or yours?
Yeah, mine.
Okay. What new location is this? Not your house.
No, it's my house only. I'm not going. Be responsible. Don't go outside. But yeah,
No, you can go to Ajji house and take the podcast there. That's also responsible.
and then we can call her also next episode if you want.
Oh yeah, grandmother reunion.
Grandmother. Yeah.
Do you remember parcel number one? Like we had this running gag, like my Ajji is coming for the show.
Yeah.
We were like, my Ajji might also come, and we're like, at the end, all Ajjis will be like, whoa.
No. It was basically like Gochi gang. It'll be Aji gang basically.
Oh yeah.
That's the
Ajji
gang. Yeah.
What a ride from there, from live shows, sold out live shows to Zoom podcasts.
Perfect. It's the perfect dip.
And awesome. Today we have people from the Last Page Collective, youth-led initiative. Some of the sweetest people we know, and they've been with us since we started out. They came for our very first show, and they even gave us a spot in one of their open mics, the closing act. So we're so happy to have all of them here. So give it up for Prajwal, Tanya, Samragini, and Alan, everybody. The four peeps from Last Page Collective.
Woohoo.
What's up?
Hello.
Hello, everyone. How are you all?
Been good.
Great. I mean, as clean as we can get.
Is this an awkward setting? Do you feel that? See,
Have no
be
words.
honest. This is more
See,
honest.
that's how it's the podcast episode should start, right? Like first, we should all act like we've never seen each other. Be like, hey, how are you doing? What's up? That's how it should start, and then we can go on to the actual questions.
Even when relatives come home first, they're like tea, coffee, and then by the time they're at the gate, you're like, yeah, my daughter's wedding, this much dowry, etc. So that's how the conversation should go. But
Don't think the conversation should go that way.
I will leave. I will leave LP if that conversation goes that way.
Or that long.
exaggeration, guys, but awesome. Are you all done with breakfast, lunch, brunch, all of that?
No.
I just woke up.
Like you said, you're allowed to eat on camera, so
Yeah.
no hesitation.
I mean, are you going to be sending us some food?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm in
I would like some
Calcutta.
food.
Please send me some nice Chinese.
No,
Do they have Dunzo in Calcutta?
No, they have Swiggy and Zomato though. And they don't
Oh.
but you can Swiggy like alcohol in Calcutta, which is crazy for me. I'm like, my life will be set.
Oh.
yeah, there's on Instamart. There's like a section called Pawn Shop. You can buy all shady stuff there.
But fun fact, you can't access pawn shop on the app. In order to buy
that's
tobacco,
not Dunzo.
no, same with the Swiggy app as well. You can't buy tobacco-based products on the app. You need to log into Swiggy on the browser. I mean, I don't understand how that works.
On Android, it's not there.
Is that on iOS?
Yeah.
Oh, Apple supremacy.
Rich people.
iPhone discrimination. Discrimination.
And speaking of us sending food, we are the same people who created a new email ID so that we could get a free Zoom first call. So don't have that expectation.
Yeah.
We have two.
And
So we're all on the same boat.
No, but one of them I by mistake put like our 2019 as the date of birth, and so they've blocked that on Zoom account.
This
Hey, what are you talking now?
A 2-year-old is accessing Zoom for online classes.
It's just not there. You have to be a
God.
Apple Kids Montessori. That's the
No. This seems like the kind of kids they advertise on White Hat Junior, that Byju's coding thing.
Listen, I just figured because Zoom was being used by everyone that institutions could just put any age. I didn't realize that they actually wanted 1998.
Yeah.
2 years old.
No,
You should have changed your name. That would have worked. White Hat Junior Enthusiast.
I think I put
we
in
did
the
this
date
for a
for
show as well. We did the exact same thing for a show, and we, since after 40 minutes it'll say, oh, first thing, so it extended. We started the meeting 40 minutes before the show so that like the audience doesn't see that. And the three of us were there, and like 40 minutes, then we sent it out to all our audience members. Like, yeah, we have premium accounts, guys.
Now this is
engineering.
premium. You can't live stream if you are not on premium. But all our 4-digit bank account slowly became 3 digits now. But that's where we're at.
Yeah. But yeah, talking about three, no. let's start the podcast. Um, Very cliche question, to be honest, but like this, if you have a prepared answer, just go for that prepared answer. If you have nice, if you want to give BBB a special answer for this question, you can go ahead. How did the idea for LPC come about? How did the yeah, no, I don't want to ask how did it start, but just the idea. Okay, LPC.
What interesting thing happens is that like people ask the three of us, how did you start BBB? Like how, and like each three of us, we have our own versions, and like we have our own journeys where at some point they coincided. So like let's see how that it is with you guys. So like tell us how LPC started and how your personal journeys were, and let's see how much they differ and like how has
And
it
where they meet.
where they meet. So go ahead, guys.
I think Prajwal should start.
Yeah, Prajwal is the right candidate.
Okay. First of all, I think we all were somewhere in the same line as well. If I'm not, we were all doing things like theater, not theater as per say, I guess. I don't know. We were in the same production as well, and that's how I met Sam first. And it was in 2018, and yeah, I mean, first green room project happened with Barking Dog, and then I was like, okay, this is for the first time I'm also seeing a live show in a scale that we can pull off as well. So that sort of gave us a little bit of courage. And then another competition like thing happened called Watch This Space. Uh, there, unfortunately, we won a lot of money, and we were like, okay, now what to do with this? We will put it back and make our own show now. There was this one phrase, to be honest, and I always connect to it, and it has come true for most of my life. It's like young, stupid, and bold, and that's literally how I we all felt that time. And that time, like, there were like a lot of friends of mine who put their own money as well, and halfway through this, and this was actually in action. Before the action, we took a trip to Kochi for going and seeing the Great Biennale of 2018. But and it was New Year's Eve. It was literally 31st December that we landed in Bangalore. And on 28th or 29th, I told Sam, oh, I have something and I have to talk to you about it. But I didn't revisit it like until a long time. And in a bus, actually, while coming back from Kerala to Bangalore, we were with Vikram. Actually, I was just brainstorming and kind of formed a structure in some form. And yeah, came to Bangalore on 31st December, and that morning we were like, okay, I think we're gonna start our own production. We had like a little seed money as well, and then gathered all my friends. They also put in money. They also like okay, yeah, we will also have stake. We will also do one big show. We will also get everyone to come and perform. So the whole idea behind it was this whole thing of, it was very frustrating, man. For me, college was utterly disappointing. Uh, in whatever space I just wanted to be in, along with my friends, of course, but nowhere we found a place where we are like, okay, this is the kind of stories we want to tell. This is the kind of shows we want to go. This is the shows we kind of want to watch. Nowhere was there a space for us to express ourselves freely. And I guess that is the time when we were okay. We were also getting serious and second year of college, I guess. And yeah, 2019, around Feb, we started pre-producing. And then halfway through, an unfortunate incident took place, and that's where Sam came in and swooped us out uh, to glory, if I'm not wrong. Uh, Literally, if I have to say, for whatever things that we have done till now, that was a defining moment for me when I started getting to know, okay, people believe that we can do something. And that was a defining moment for me when Sam literally, like, so selflessly just gave her home. Her whole family was there. She was there. She was directing a play for us. Vishnu, in fact, was a comedian for us in our first ever show. And I guess apart from that one block of a road, everything kept falling into place. Like, uh, we completely fundraised the whole event, like crowdfunded the whole event, and paid each and every artist, and which we take super pride in. That we, no matter what, you can't work for us for free. You, if you're working for us, you're working with pay, and that is something that we take a lot of pride in. And that is a space, like, see, as a 20, 19, 20-year-old back then, what I felt was, okay, if I'm going to take up arts as a career, then I need to know that I can also be secure. Although we are all still in the process of getting secure, but we are at least not working for anyone for free. At least that much I can tell. And that's how I met Sam, when she came at our lowest. But we pulled up, and around the same time is when I met Tanya for the first time as well. Although she was unfortunately not a part of the whole gathering, she was, if I remember right, on the show date she had another show and she was doing lights and sound for them, if I'm not wrong. Uh, and she texted, she sent me a very sweet message. I was like, this is a person who I don't even know, and I'm getting like so much love and support from someone who, like, I don't even know. I literally met her like some 4 or 5 days back, and it sort of just clicked, right? It sort of just clicked into existing this whole journey. And Alan, I knew him uh, as a lot of other things. He was, we have a lot of mutual friends, and that's how I met him. Uh, and then again, he was a part of our play as well back in that. Uh, One second. Yeah, he was a part of our play as well, and he played a very stereotypical American Indian in that. Uh, I don't know. I guess now thinking back, I feel, but he did well. He did really well, and after that, Alan took a break from us. He wanted to do something else. Unfortunately for him, it didn't work out. I don't know what he was doing, by the way. I'm just making things up right now. Uh, then, at the same time, after Annecy, which was our first show at Alliance, it was a sold out show. We did only one show, but it was a sold out show for 250 people capacity. The auditorium was around 300, 310. Uh, Something that I can't imagine right now. But it was nice. It was such a beautiful feeling after everything that like I woke up to almost some 60, 70 messages on WhatsApp the next day, and I was like, okay, something has happened. It was nice. And after that, I went full radio silent for the next 2 months, which is when one fine evening in the summer we met at Sam's place, which I guess is a start for everything. Uh, Tanya was also there, and so was Ashish. And that's how it started. From there, I think Sam and Tanya can take over, or if Sam and Tanya want to add anything to this.
I would like to add that it wasn't a summer evening. It was summer at 1 o'clock in the night when we started that
That's
meeting.
true. That's
And then a drunk person knocked on the door because we were all laughing too loudly
Yep.
at like 4 in the morning.
I do not think we should get into the kind of stories that have happened in Sam's house. Because that
Yeah,
would
and that sounds so
No,
wrong.
no,
Like I
no,
can't
we
tell you
shouldn't.
what's
We
wrong.
shouldn't.
genuinely cannot get into
Yeah,
it.
we shouldn't. We shouldn't.
Because it's really wrong. Like it would really
Nothing. Okay, can I just say that nothing happens? There are no drugs. There is like alcohol. Yes, okay, sure. But there is no drugs, especially during LPC meetings. No drugs, no alcohol. There's only water and tea and like biryani
Or
and
were or are we making this all up? You never know. We're just gonna leave you on the edge. We're just gonna
but
leave you on the
there is
edge.
but there is an orgy room.
there is an orgy room. Tanya
Yeah.
named it. Tanya
really not
basically cut
publicized
the
it.
ribbon. Tanya and
Okay.
Ashish are the founders of the orgy room.
Uh, let's not get into the details because it would ruin a lot of
Your
memories. I don't know.
through
Actually.
your memories, their podcast will be doing.
Yeah,
But yeah,
BisiBeleBois.
Sam's house is
Boys.
where
What is
we.
orgy, guys? I don't know that. What is orgy?
Is it short form for organism?
I think
don't know
Vaishak
this.
and Vishnu are just like I wish they would have told us all this before. We would have put the rating as like
Orgy,
R or
orgy
18 plus.
technically is short for organization. So that's where all the organizational matters get discussed.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Oh,
Yeah.
look
So
who's
whenever,
talking
whenever
about
kids,
organizing.
whoever is listening this, if you're planning on building something, make sure you always have like an orgy room. That's like the fundamental to building an organization.
Look who's talking about building an organization. The chap
Agreed.
who doesn't attend any meetings.
Guys, everyone, so that the world knows, Alan does not
Okay.
attend.
Alan doesn't attend meetings, but also in his defense, he was kind of steamrolled into joining LPC because we didn't have money to pay him. So we were like, if you're part of LPC, you don't get paid. So then, and now even though we have the money, we're holding off on paying him, so he doesn't. He like still feels like he's part of
I
this.
I just
So-
told
so-
we pay
so-
people. I
so
just
the-
told we take full pride in it.
So,
But
so
we
the
do.
But I
pitch
didn't
was
pay.
We do. I'm not
Yeah.
saying we don't. I'm just saying Alan doesn't get paid.
yeah, the pitch was, it was like something like a Ponzi scam. We don't have money to pay you. You get 2 more people to join LPC, and then we'll pay you. So now I've been
I-
trying to like butter people into joining LPC.
I
Yes,
remember.
getting on my pay.
I remember how the conversation went. We told Alan, see, you will get your money for being a part with us and all of that. But that is just like a transaction. But do you want to build a relationship with us, not get paid, and suffer for the rest of your nightlife. And he was like, shit, I want to be a part of this.
Yes.
Give me
I remember we
suffering.
had like a bottle of wine and we were like, I don't know if we were celebrating or we were crying, but we were just like,
Dude, our WhatsApp DP is still that. Show Tanya, show. Our WhatsApp DP is still that.
Wait, Akhil's room. You mean that night? No, it wasn't that
No,
night. I'll
no.
tell you which night it was. It was the night where all of us went to Angrezi and just sat at the dining table for an hour, like not talking
no,
to
we
each
were
other.
in Sam's house again. We were in your house. It was
What?
night and we were discussing finances and we were like Akhil and
Yeah.
Alan.
And Pranmat's
What's
father
it?
gave us
Come,
like a
bro.
bottle of wine.
Oh
Our
yeah.
WhatsApp, dude,
Oh,
our
Nishant
WhatsApp
was there. Nishant
Our-
was there.
Okay,
But we
our
didn't look
WhatsApp
at
DP is that. Like,
Wait, I'll take it out. I'll
literally,
take it out. I'll take it out.
I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
think we should publicize this.
It's like,
It
I'll
does
tell you how
not
many people.
show me in good light.
Alan. So
That's
that's
Tanya.
Nice.
Tanya drinking a wine in my house.
In a
She's a
sari
drunkard, by the way.
with
In a sari, on top of which is Akhil's like Star Wars t-shirt sweater that she gave back after a year. And that's Prajwal laughing because he just hit Alan on the head because Alan had a history of drinking alcohol in my house.
Yeah. It's eventful to say
And
that.
it's a great start. It's a great start to any like a production house, orgy rooms, alcohol, drugs. No, I don't want to say drugs. No, drugs, but alcohol, orgies. It works.
but something that I do.
Alan,
you
you're
are
on mute.
Just say.
All I'm saying is that that 1:1 photo right there is the manifestation of all that LPC is.
Are you talking about
Statements.
Vicky?
Yeah, that photo, like a
Why?
bunch of things happening in that photo is what LPC is.
Please, we do. We
I'll show you a second photo that what LPC is. One
Oh
sec.
my
I will
God.
find that.
Go
for you.
ahead. Go ahead.
Most beautiful
Yes.
photo in the planet.
I'm scared. Should I be scared?
Is
Sam?
my internet okay?
The thing is,
Huh?
like,
Yeah.
how we have grown is like, even though we are like the closest of friends, I can't think of anyone like. I mean, I have friends, but I like immediately I'm just like, okay, yeah, Tanya or Sam or anyone. Oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
That's a sweet picture.
I mean, again,
Yeah.
I'm doing weird shit, but I guess that's
I
what
mean,
they're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I guess yeah, that's what, as I said, that's like these are manifestations of what LPC is.
Yeah.
These pictures speak 1,000 words. They're not like your quintessential, like planned out photos where we all look cute and cuddly. We are candid. We do random shit.
So yeah, I was just saying, like, even though we've grown to be like inseparable friends, I don't think we can have a conversation without talking about LPC. That's how it has grown into our lives.
Yeah, I don't know
right
if
now.
that's good or bad.
Yeah,
Though.
sometimes I feel like very like whenever one day we just planned, we were like, we will not talk about work today at all, and we went to Samsung
Didn't work out.
and we ended up planning a play which we are going to do.
Dance like a man.
So-
Which one? Dance?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I am just like, we don't have a personal life of our own when with each other. I guess that's how it is like ingrained
And
into us.
It's almost like as if the days we decide we'll do LPC work, we don't do LPC work, and the days we decide we won't do LPC work, we do LPC work. And my
That's how it
dining-
always is.
Yeah, and my dining table is our office. And it's the most uncomfortable dining table on the planet. It has nails sticking out, broken chairs, like this plain wood. And
And I still managed to sleep in all the meetings, like all of them. Like I don't know why they don't understand, but I cannot stay awake after like post 11:30-ish. And then by 12, I'm like,
the rest
And
of
we
us are night
start
owls.
See, and we start the meeting at 12:30 in the night. We start at that time. Come on, that is morning.
Uh,
you can't.
That's
And then the
that's
next
late
morning-
evening.
No, it's really
Late evening, yeah.
because I would have said
So
yes.
technically,
Then I
still
would
the
forget
issue is
everything.
the issue is the three of us, that is me, Prajwal, and Sam. We identify LPC as a US based company. Okay, so our times, and Tanya thinks it's an Indian based company. So like that creates like the difference in the
Probably.
time zones, the perceptions.
Yeah, you have bigger visions. You have bigger visions, international visions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you won't know of any other company with an organizational room.
Never heard of one.
Yeah, you heard it here first.
And let me point out that Alan puked in that
God.
organizational room while I was sleeping next to him.
Ideas,
So
quality ideas. You've seen Nyan Cat, right? You've
put
seen
it
the
up.
cat that's trending on the internet, which pukes rainbows.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
just
some
took it, Alan.
so
That really wasn't rainbows.
Please, please just give me props for cleaning your puke that day.
Okay, so
uh,
Those who are watching, put hashtag props for Prajwal, everyone.
Thanks.
Also, can I just say that this is how usually most of our conversation goes? Prajwal's face is just like, and then Tanya and Alan are just like, and I'm just like laughing my head off because I don't know what's happening.
no, that's
Awesome.
also me in the morning. Like after the meeting is all done, we get like a good night's sleep, and then like good night.
Good night.
Okay. I don't know about that, but yeah, after we sort of sleep and then we wake up and then they're like, okay, so Tanya, we're gonna be doing this, and I'm like, what?
And she goes, no.
Wait, when did we
She goes,
discuss
no.
this?
Okay, so we'd have planned it, like fully budgeted everything, and Tanya will go, no, we're not doing that. It's stupid. You just go, what the hell are you saying?
I wouldn't remember anything. I remember this once when Sam was like, yeah, we're doing this play, me and you and something, and she gives me the entire plot.
I remember.
I
It was
don't
not
remember
it was not mental health, and it was using movement and monologue to talk about mental health. And Tanya at night was like, yeah, bro, I can imagine this. It's gonna be sick, like it's gonna be groundbreaking. And then I'm on it, Tanya was like, this is the stupidest idea I've heard in my life. What is this? What the fuck is going
I
on?
don't remember a word. I was like, oh god. Yeah.
I
so-
think we're deviating. So I think we should come back to this one fine summer late evening, 12:30 in the night, where Ashish and Tanya also was there.
Oh, playing footsie under the table.
Who were
I think oh yeah, it was night. It was something. No, it was we were sleeping or we were
What?
going to sleep or something like that. And then I was like, I want to do a musical.
Oh yeah.
That's what it was.
Oh, God.
That's what it was. I was like, we need to do a musical. And then
No,
we
it wasn't that. It was okay. So my mom had gone to Vipassana for 12 days, and I had decided her Vipassana means my like 2 weeks of drug and alcohol filled parties. And therefore, it was after one of these parties that Tanya was there. So was Muruga and Ashish. The three of them were chilling in my house with my
oh,
sister.
when
Who,
she
by
when
the
she
way,
says drugs, she means
I mean
like
pot.
play, theater.
Pot.
Theater is a drug.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Okay,
You don't have to
Let me
say that. Like we know it's theater is
Yeah.
yeah.
Art is a drug. Art is a drug that
Exactly.
fuels
I
all
mean,
of us.
Right.
yeah, we are all
Right.
art fueled junkies.
Anyway, my sister would also like me to mention that she's our food and what? Wait, she sent me the message. She's our food
F&B
and beverage
head.
F&B head. She's our food and beverage head. So
Definitely.
Tanya and Ashish and Muruga were talking to our F&B head, and I was doing barking dog for Vikram. No, I don't know where I was. I wasn't at home. Like apparently my friends hang out in my house when I'm not there. And so then suddenly I get a call from Tanya and she's like, you have to come back early tonight. And I'm like, why? It's like, no, Prajwal's also coming. Ashish is going to be here. You have to come back early tonight. I was like, okay, fine.
I would not do this, Sam. But
And then
okay,
I was like,
continue.
and I was like, okay, yeah, sure. And then my early is like 12:30. Yeah. Anyway, so we come back and then I sit down and then suddenly Tanya goes, musical. I want to do musical. And I was like, cool, let's do musical. And then we started. Now, Tanya can continue the conversation.
Yeah, and then we got damn excited. Then we actually organized one whole meeting just to do that, just to do like budgeting. and all.
It was that
And so I
night
think
only.
It was that night, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So we were like, yeah,
That
we
night, that idea got a spark in the same night and died down on the same night.
yeah. So we were like musical, fancy. We're gonna do it. Four of us were there: me, Praj, Sam, and Ashish. And of course, Sam's two lovely dogs just around there for moral support. And then we started doing our finances. Ashish was financially, basically, he was good at math. He could add, so he was the financial advisor of sorts. And once he started adding, we realized that it's not possible because it came down to like, I don't know, what was it, like 15 lakhs, 20 lakhs?
Yeah.
Around that. So then we were like, maybe we should just start out small, like instead of aiming too high. Already we're all broke, so we're like, okay. So then we started off with, like, we thought, okay,
A workshop.
let's start off with workshops, let's start off with smaller plays, and then I think till this day we're still aiming to do a musical. And that's always, I think, till we do that, we're not gonna we're
Rest.
not gonna stop, guys.
There
We're
ain't
not.
no rest for the wicked.
I just realized we are still aiming for, like,
Yeah,
said-
you were saying that, and I was like, the
Yeah.
mega project that we're
Yeah.
thinking, the budget is 1 crore, like in our heads.
I'm just like, we're still planning for that.
Still.
One crore and all is fine. 1 crore. 20 lakh musical? No, why? Too much, bro. So, see, clearly, this is why we need like an Ashish, like right now. We clearly are
just
unable to
saying-
perceive numbers.
Just saying, 1 crore and all is dreams. But before that, we have a 12 lakh budget, like, nicely, that we can execute. We can get it back. That is what is under wraps as of now. Let us.
Don't reveal our secrets and our plans, Prachur.
Yeah.
Promotions, you can go for it, but
Not promotion.
even
is,
secret information, we'll change the title. LPC reveals secrets.
Play is happening in December called Dance Like a Man. Yeah, that is our secret. Please.
Perfect.
So we were doing one of these like interviews, and something like Avi doesn't, Avinash doesn't call his parents for like shows. And we were like, why doesn't he? And he told, I'm saving my parents for like a big show. When we perform in Chinnaswamy Stadium, that's when I call them. And so and both of us were shocked, like Chinnaswamy Stadium, like usually people have like Madison Square Garden, something like that. And he's like, no, Chinnaswamy Stadium, Nam Bengaluru. I want. So yeah, that's our 1 crore project. Chinnaswamy Stadium.
But even with us, like so many things, even we do. Like I think the whole, if we plan, okay, we will do BBB work, we won't do work. And if we plan just to chill, we'll end up like creating, like, okay, we'll do a video, we'll like do a show or something like that. And yeah, it's always like that. And even with us, of course, 3 of us doing improv, it's been like that. Like we've been a team since 2019 Jan. That's when we also started doing improv together. And there are sometimes it's like without BBB, the conversation isn't there. There's always BBB in the conversation. But yeah, interesting stories. We'll also try to get ourselves an organizational room. We should do that.
So like from whatever I've heard till now, I learned 3 lessons. First is that like prize money is the root of everything. So which is definitely what happened with us also. We got too cocky when we got our prize money, and we're like, our initial investments were 1,500 per head. And like Avi, we were asking Avi, do you have 1,500? And like he opens an envelope, all of the BBB prize money is there. I'm like, whenever I've spent mine, it's gone off somewhere. So he neatly gave me and Vishnu, okay, we did something. So with that 4,500, we did parcel number 1. And the second thing is that like an org, aka an organizational room, is very important for an company's success. As I found out, a lot of stuff goes down there. And after that, the third thing is like these meetings and stuff. The only time, we used to meet a lot to plan for shows. One of the times we like planned the company, companies. The BBB's journey was like we met at Alchemy in Jayanagar. This was on Jan 1st, 2020, and like neatly we sat and we wrote 2020 plans. One corporate show, Manipal show, college show. This we have to do, and then everything like after that nothing. So it's just like whatever we get, we'll do now, and all of your. We are more clean people, like as in like we end with masala dosa and vade. It's nothing. It doesn't, nothing goes beyond that. And it's so fun listening to all of your stories. Good chaotic energy. This is what I call. And like you have, like the four horsemen, like that. Like Rajol over there is like calm and like I'm going like this, and then you have this chaotic. There's one person who's passed out all the time, and we have Alan who comes in like, oh look, like randomly at the beginning, oh yeah, look, this is what we are doing, guys. And with that, like a question which I have for all of you is that like now LPC, you are like what do I say, stakeholders, and you need to play the role of like what do you say, like you need to take decisions and whatnot. But before that, all of you are artists as well, right? So do all of you have different journeys as artists, and like do you like let's say like Prajwal does photography a lot, and Tanya, you do these movement workshops, so like you all have different artistical backgrounds is what I mean. So like how does this come into play when you are running a company together, and is there like a dichotomy between your artistical art side versus the businessman side? You know what I mean, right?
So I guess the best way to look at it would be.
I'm so sorry to cut you off. I'm so sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
Can you like repeat your question? I lost you. My internet went. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry. What I meant was all of you have different artistical journeys, is what I meant. And as artists, your groundings are different. So when all of you combine, like you told that, I don't have personal friends or professional friends. It's just like, it just becomes one thing. You don't know what it is. It's the same thing with BBB as well. So you don't know when we are talking about money and when we are talking about our relationships. So it's just like that. And so with this, since you have different artistical backgrounds, I want to discuss the dichotomy of being an artist as well as being a businessman, and how does that play into your functioning. For example, for us is that like, we're improvisers, we like comedy, we want to do that, but still we have like, oh, I have to do this Instagram work, or I have this, or I have to do this budgeting, or all that, like, pain, I guess, but that business side is also there in our heads. So just let's discuss the dichotomy of that.
So as I was saying, just look at it like a Venn diagram. I mean, we all have our own different spheres of interests, but then there's like this fine like middle zone where we all overlap. And this overlap is kind of like the binding glue that holds us together, that kind of creates the overarching direction. And then the fact that we all have different walks in life factors in and gives each of us a unique wavelength of energy. So it's like a fine cocktail of both of these, our similarities and our differences. Both of these combine, and an amalgamation of this is what LPC is. That's what kind of gives us the, foundation to do something different. Now, for me, Sam is a very, very theater oriented person now, and I'm like more inclined towards the pop culture side of things. Now, when both of us meet, like when both of our energies and both of our ideas meet, like there'll be like a fine balance, like an untapped area. Oh, Prajwal left. What am I supposed to?
His internet sucks, like he froze. I think that's the
he'll-
problem.
I think he
Okay.
was like insulted by what Alan said.
I would be insulted by what Alex said.
No, please continue, Alan.
Yeah, so ideally, like, so when these energies meet, there'll be like this one fine untapped area of or untapped niche of excellence that we'll try to pursue. And that's what kind of gives LPC its unique image. That's what makes us different. And I am assuming that kind of answers your question as to how different energies and different lifestyles bounce off.
Also, I think there's also like a confluence of there's half of us are quite mainstream and half of us is quite experimental. I'd say Prajwal and I are more like we tend towards, like, we are attracted to more experimental work, and like Tanya and Alan are tended to more structured work. And therefore, I think what happens is when we bring these ideas together, it creates a good balance between structure and experimentation. And that's actually how Math came around, like Yayati thing. Like we chose Yayati, which is too structured, and I kind of like freaked out with it. But then Alan kind of brought in like the idea that why don't we use the structure but also make it our own, and then kind of use it as an adaptation. And it worked out, like, I think decently well. I guess. So
Yeah,
yeah.
it was a great work. It was a great piece that we managed to put out.
And more than that, I think for me, what really worked was that my actors all kind of left learning something about themselves. Like I know, like I have had at least 5 of our 8 actors reach out. 6. How many actors did we have? I'm forgetting now.
Hmm.
6, 7. Okay. Like at least 4 actors come up to me like later on. Like I had one of our actors like message me last month saying, like, I've just been like, quarantine has made me think of, the experience of doing that play and what I've learned. And we've also had like actors who've just, kind of exploded into the best version of themselves because of it. So yeah, I think that's where we kind of excel, like Alan said.
I want to add, we are always
Fighting.
doubt uh, or fighting about the business versus art. I think that could be the most like candid version of our answer, because we've still not found that sweet spot about like, okay, how can we maximize or how can we monetize on this as much as possible? Because we're always like, but should we charge this much? Because if we're offering it for artists, so for example our workshops, if we are offering it to budding artists, should we even charge? And that's where our entire thing, goes downhill. And then we have like extensive conversations about why we should monetize. If we have to keep this collective running, then we need to monetize, but at the same time, what is the essence of our collective? So it's like we run in circles, but then at the end of the day, we do sort of understand what is the underlying thing that we're aiming for, and then we decide on something that everyone sort of agrees on. Not always that it's not like everyone's happy all the time, but it's like, okay, everyone's been consulted on this, everyone's been heard, and then, we sort of have to just choose something and just go ahead with that in that direction.
It also took us a long while to even get here, like to accept that, we all have different views, that we are not necessarily always on the same wavelength. Like this took a long time, I think, for all of us. It took us almost like 6, I think 4 months of working together to actually get there. And like monetarily, like Tanya said, you're always in this dichotomy as to, are we a collective, are we a production house, what exactly are we, and where are we getting our seed money? And like, for example, a lot of like art collectives work on grants, but the problem with grants again comes in that you like it's you create a project, you ask for a grant, you get it. It's not like, oh, I need a grant because I want to do 10 workshops on movement eh, for students of Bangalore. Like you won't get a grant for that. So therefore, where do you get money then in the art world?
Rajwal, do you have anything to add on to that?
I think all of the problems caused are by me in terms of
Vouch for that.
money and all of that. Uh, so, no, but see, I have a simple thing in mind. Okay. Now, all the doubts, all the dichotomy, everything is true, everything is gray. nothing is black and white. Nothing is. No one is wrong. No one is right. Nothing. But at the end of the day, how I personally go ahead and make decisions or see what I can do is this one question I ask myself: why did I start? And that answers all my questions and puts things into perspectives. If I remember why I started, if I remember why I am in the field, if I remember why I am doing what I'm doing, if I get an answer, you're doing it right. If I don't get an answer, I'm doing it wrong. That's all. I work on this simple basis. I don't want to complicate stuff for anyone, except I do. But yeah.
It's interesting when you say that, like, yeah, you have four different artistical backgrounds, and the confluence of it is what births LPC. And obviously the business versus art side is always there. Like with us with BBB was that, like, one shitty thing which happens to us is, like, people will approach us for shows and be like, it's exposure you will get, you won't get money, but we will get exposure. Especially colleges do this. So, like, for college shows, they be like, and like we were like, should we do it? Should we do it? Like, sometimes we'll be like, okay, it's a popular college, let's do it off. And like we're boys, so it's a girl college, let's do it off. So like it's always there. So we've always had that. And but what do you say? Once we decided that, okay, no more free shows from now on, like, we'd always, okay, this is the last free show, macha, like pakka, no more after this. But okay, it's a free no, we're not going to do free shows. But apart from the monetary side of things, uh, running a company is not just, being creative. It's a lot of, like, what do you say, clerical work, if I'm not wrong, where you, such as running Instagram, and you guys even have a blog, which it's in the description. Please check it out. You have that. What do you say?
Please
Uh,
don't. It's not.
No. I guess it's safe to say that it's a work in progress. That's the nice way to put it. So
but
it's a,
but it's in the description.
Each of us get like bursts of inspiration where we decide to work on that blog, and then we'll spend like hours, and then we like send each other like, okay, look at it, tell us what to change, and then someone will send back and be like, okay, we'll do it. It hasn't been done yet. The last one to get a burst of inspiration was me. I sent it to Tanya. Tanya looked it over, sent me like feedback, and I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And it's just that I'll do it. It hasn't been done since.
And yeah, so like what I mean to say is, like, there are a lot of these clerical things, like you told, calculating and keeping track of the money and all of that. Have you, especially, it's much more evident post lockdown, because you're just in your room all the time and you end up being with your devices and doing all this uh, work, right? So have you ever felt that has not influenced, affected your creative side as well, and like your artistical functioning, your this thing? That's the first thing. And one of the conversations which I had with Prajwal when my petrol tank was leaking was that I'll come to that story later. Was something which he told me was like, you as BBB, you need a social media person and you need a manager. Like, get them so that, like, it doesn't affect your creative side. So have you guys taken a similar approach? Did you get people to do social media? And yeah, that's my question. So, like, basically, does this clerical work affect your creative and artistical side? That's all.
to begin with, to do finances, you need to have finance. There is.
No,
Okay.
you guys said
Okay.
12 lakh budget, 1 crore.
Can I just say that we have like our budget isn't that bad, like our bank account balance right now.
No, like, we met Prajwal at Jain College. I don't have driving license, PAN card, nothing. So, like, every
Yeah,
time.
I mean,
Thank God!
yeah. In other news, Prajwal is officially a holder of a PAN card.
Oh,
Oh,
genuinely
Very-
required.
Congrats.
Guys, please
This-
congratulate Prajwal in
Congrats,
chat. This is
Prajwal.
like, a historical moment for all of humanity right here.
Put hashtag proud of PAN card Prajwal.
It's been exactly 13 hours since I got it.
Oh, you are
So I'm
revealing the information on our podcast.
What?
it's been literally 13 hours since I got my PAN card. So I'm still happy, like I'm on cloud nine and all.
Should we sing
But
happy 13th birthday to Prajwal's PAN card? I feel like okay, fine.
Like Prajwal, you should have had it like long back. And the number of times we have told him, joked about it, threatened him, like physically, like I don't know, slapped him and told him to get one. And oh my god, like I
So
think
in
the
the
number of
middle, we decided that we were going to register ourselves as a what is the art collect something we were
LLP.
going to register. Huh. And then they were like, huh, okay, Tanya, Prajwal PAN card scan. And I was like, not there. He's like, okay, then can I sign it under Tanya and your name? And I was like, uh, okay, no, please, bye bye. I'll come back when Prajwal has his PAN card.
Well, now we can and we have to because we need it. And coming back to the question, I'm not letting them talk because they're very distracting. Uh, so yeah, coming back to the question, I think like we did try. I guess we did try getting a social media manager and a person who can just, you know, do services in terms of managing us. It worked pretty well for that period of time, but then I guess we can't rely on people as much as we could because we don't have a source where we can pay them periodically as well. And I mean, that is one thing that I'd like to address if people are listening. Please come to live shows. Please come to, please attend online shows or whatever it is. Because I cannot specify the amount of messages I keep getting once in a while. Like just day before yesterday, there was a person who worked with me for LPC, and he just messaged and he was just like, "For fuck's sake, just give me work. I'm going mad." And that that says volumes, right? It shows how much art can help people. And I'm not calling ourselves artists or we are there or whatever. We are also finding our way, as is everyone. But if you all are watching, please do pay for your friends, watch them. It helps them go a long way. And coming back to the question, I guess it depends on who is handling what. I think it's pretty organized in terms of us, like if there is something that needs to be communicated, Tanya will handle. If there is something that has to be ideated, Sam will do it. And if there is anything that needs immediate attention, or in anything related to media, I'll do it, or Alan does it. Finances, I mean, all of them have a bank account, so they all know what they're keeping, what they're not keeping. I don't have anything, so I don't care about it.
We have an
Uh,
Excel sheet that keeps getting added and subtracted from.
yeah. So I guess like it's it's like an unspoken thing. It's understood that okay, this person is handling this person is handling this. So in that way, I guess it's fine. If anyone else wants to add, please go ahead.
It's fine. It's not great. I think we're
Yeah.
handling it for now. But if we aim to become bigger, then I think either either I think the issue is that even if interns come on or people say, okay, we'll handle it for you, that sense of identity. I think for Tanya, Prajwal, and I, and to an extent Alan as well, it feels like LPC is our baby. It's our child, and like we will do everything we can possibly do to our extent to keep it up and running. You know, and that you can't expect that from everyone, and we have really high expectations from people. If people are doing social media, then you do social media properly. Like you tell us what you need, we'll get you the graphics, you do it. But I like that sense, unless you're paying people, that thing doesn't come through. So if we expand, we need to genuinely start recruiting more people.
And with even if you end up, even with us, we face like similar issues because we've also done our own stuff with either with Instagram or anything, YouTube. Like I used to design and edit videos. I used to design, and Vaishak used to take care of the booking. Avinash used to pitch in with the designs and like come help with the whole. Those two were handling the finance. I'm very bad with math. I never handled like if it was cash payments that we got used to go to Avi. If it was like Google Pay or Paytm or any bank related used to go to Vaishak, like and stuff like that. We've done it ourselves. And even if we grow and like say we have like a manager, social media manager, since you say like LPC is like your baby, it's the same with us as well. So it's very tough to give it away to someone. Like when we like I genuinely enjoy doing these college shows. It hurts like, okay, I'm not getting paid. We're not getting, BBB is not getting paid at the end of it. But it feels like you've achieved something because like 15 minutes before the show, they'll send you the Zoom link. You just have to join, do the show and like leave. And whereas when we do our shows, it's everything like from day one where we're like, okay, this is the name of the show. This is the poster. This much is the ticket. Everything has to be done we have like a workflow and like the attention we put into each and everything. And when even one thing out of how we used to do, people who are managing for us don't do that, we feel like, hey, you're not doing it right. And we feel like intervening there and saying, this is how it's done. So that is something we have to like stop.
Micromanaging is a disease that you can't let go.
It's that's the whole difficulty with handling the business side of it and the creative side of things. That's something we've observed at least in the past 6 to 7 months after the lockdown. At least that not 6 to 7 months, even before that, like from end of 2020 ish. Like we've felt that we want someone else to do it. That's how we can grow creatively because that's who we are. We want to be comedians, but we've done the management so much that we feel bad to give it away to someone. Like, do you guys also have similar?
It's like you've perfected it. Okay, like I hate it, but I love this. I love this job where you're like just before the event. Okay, like yeah. In fact, yesterday I was at an interview and there was a similar question posed. What do you enjoy most about having events or creating events or whatever? And the answer that I gave was just this much like, you know, just before event goes live or something happens, someone will come with a problem to you.
Yeah.
And you know that problem, you've dealt with it like 1,000 times. And you just like, you smile and you're like, yeah, it's okay, I'll take care of it. That thrill, though, is something that is unmatchable. Uh, so, yeah, like I have personally grown to love executing events and just having to do them in and out, logistics, management, whatever it is. But I think that is again hampering my creative sides where I am also like going more and more numb creatively where I'm not able to think of anything. But I am excited when someone else thinks and I'm like, yeah, we will do this. You go ahead, I will take care of everything. I'm there.
So, like before, how our shows work is like, and that too, like, since our shows are quite small scale, people still Google Pay to me, and then like I fill Google form, then I send a Zoom link to everyone. So all this work is there. So like the show's gonna be at 6, around 5, I'm sending the Zoom link. There's a one big problem. What if the mail doesn't go to everyone? Or what if I've sent the wrong link? So that full tension will be there. And then two fuckers will be there who will DM like, Macha, I couldn't book. Can like I separately Google Pay? Can you send me the Zoom link now? I'm like, okay, I'll do that also. And then like all this headache, and then like yeah, when like you told micromanaging, when I'm doing it, it's like everything needs to be right. And in that time, like by the time I would have sent it, I realized that oh shit, I haven't worn my contact lenses now. Can you like I have to go rush wear that and then come, and then my background, I haven't my jeans pant is hanging from the door. I need to remove that. So like all of those things are happening. So yeah, it's what do you say? Would that have affected me when I did the show? Like if I was in a calmer state, would I have like been more comedic? You never know. Probably this is what gives me an adrenaline rush, and I be funny. You never know. So like I don't know. Giving it to someone, we spoke about this with POP as well, where they had social media team do stuff, but still Jayasmiti was like going to individual posts and checking if they did it right, or you know that side. It's like an itch which you can never completely scratch. It's just there, and like you keep doing it. So
I think in math was the only time where I ever trusted someone to do something for me, and that was Akhil. Because like Akhila is my life, joy, soul, heart, mind, everything. And Alan also had to work really hard to gain my trust, even though he was co-director. Akhil just had it from day one. And I remember like it was the second show at Shunya, and we were, I don't know why we didn't have volunteers, so I was doing ticketing in the front. And like I'm doing ticketing, and there's like people coming in, and then suddenly someone goes, listen, lights have to be like set up, go back. And I'm like, no, we need to finish this. And then Akhil comes out, and I'm like, okay, Akhil's there. I will give it to Akhil. Just like there's so I feel like yeah, you can't sometimes you always micromanage, but there are always going to be one or two people that you can trust, and then it hurts you when they leave you. He abandoned us.
yeah. I mean, like, I wish I could clone another Vaishak to do this and be like,
Yeah, exactly. Like Akhil is the perfect mix between Tanya and Prajwal. Like he's calm, but like he's like he can get like other people to do their stuff, and like it's
And one more thing that like you all started when you were in college. When you start anything, like you say, do something professional, like create, like start a production house or put up a show or anything. When you're in college, you always have that one added advantage that your friends will come help with like small things like volunteer, like she said, ticketing. Like even for us, it was like that. Like my classmates, they a couple of them came, they recorded the show for us, they did the ticketing and stuff like that. So do you think that helps, like being in college, you have immediate access to people like your friends and your classmates to reach out saying, hey, will you do this?
It's a double-edged sword, if you ask me. Uh, I mean, there are, of course, a set of people who I can die in their arms and I know that I will live. And they will come for whatever it is. And but the thing is, like, college thing is, we will be branded as a college collective. We are always looked at, okay, they're still kids, okay, they're just still college people. And that's why people don't take us seriously as well sometimes. But at the same time, it helps where you have immediate access to a lot of people, um, for any sort of help or marketing or even selling tickets, anything. It's a double-edged sword. Like like find a balance, I guess. But for me, it is that. Like I know I have people who I can rely whether or not they are in college or not, but it's also something where you're like, if you're too dependent on college logistics, then we
Your
don't
audience
need it.
doesn't grow.
Yeah.
Suddenly, 1.5 years later, I realized, yes, that we've done so much thing. Oh, okay, like it's all people from our circle that, like, yeah, makes sense. I
No,
thought
like
I,
people,
about it. Yeah.
PS was so associated with BisiBeleBois at a point where some function, some event was happening at PS, and they told the BisiBeleBois will be performing, and like we didn't even know about it. So like, what?
They're sending us a forward saying you guys are performing. You're like, what?
So
yeah.
it just gets absorbed into that. But uh, yeah, and what about Alan and
Tell
Tanya?
you that
The
we were all sort of from different colleges. I know Alan and Sam were, but I think Joseph's is a huge college, so it took me.
It is, but I didn't have friends. So people didn't come for me. Okay, Tanya, talk.
Please.
Can I not?
yeah, what do Tanya and Alan have to say regarding this clerical stuff interfering with your artistical side?
It doesn't really actually. I mean, it's
Oh, that's because you don't take
Because you
part.
don't do it.
no. Okay, no. See, exactly. No, that's one way. That's one way to put it. That's one way to put it. But on a serious note, I mean, see what we essentially thrive on right now are these bursts of inspiration, and this isn't exactly viable. Is it good? Yes. I mean, not a lot of people really get these bursts of inspiration, but to capitalize on that, but and to make a dream or an inspiration, I mean, as great as it seemed when it hit you, we really need to get into this. So I mean, right now it doesn't really interfere because there's not a lot going on, but it's a habit that we or like any artist, anyone who would want to make it big in the industry of arts would need to start doing. There's no way out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, see, when you picture something in your head, it'll seem beautiful, but then to get that the painting as it is from the head to real life, it takes planning. It takes a lot of clerical work. It takes identifying and penning down all nuances. Every dream begins on a sheet of paper. So I mean, there's so yeah.
That's pretty interesting. Yeah. And like one thing which Prajwal had told me when we were in Jain, and I remember, is that for you to become a good director is you should be a good editor as well, so that you understand editing and the storytelling format. So I think that same thing we could extrapolate it to here, where for you to express yourself creatively, you should know the nuances of the clerical and business side of things. Yeah.
Yeah, planning is a must.
Yeah, also I don't think like if you're just involved in the creative side, then you won't know, like if you're not involved in the other side, then I don't think like translating this to be it, like, I don't know, making it much better, or if you're not involved in the budgeting, then you will make like crazy ideas which are not feasible. uh, right, so it just, I think it just goes hand in hand. And in terms of like having, I don't think my creativity is affected by doing all of these admin work, but I think it just gives me lesser time to be doing like the actual creative part of it. So of course, like in terms of creativity, in terms of ideation, I think I'll still be able to come up with the same like ideas. It's just that I don't have the time to sit and ideate. So definitely we would sort of be on, like, it would be an advantage that if we had people like doing things, especially like during our show days are crazy, like crazy. Like for example, I remember, like, I don't know, like Prajwal was in jail
Oh
But
yeah, Rangashankara. Rangashankara. Prajwal was in jail. Okay.
Jane or jail?
Okay. So
Yeah.
So section 1 was section 144. Section 144 was placed the previous 9. Okay. And Prajwal, Akhil and I are and Alan is also there in my apartment complex rehearsing for the show at Rangashankara. It's our first Rangashankara show. We are excited out of our mind. And then section 144 got placed. Rangashankara isn't picking up the call. And so we're freaking out. I'm calling up Keetana, who's like my mentor, and like different like theater people, like we all know, we're just calling different people, trying to figure out what the hell is happening. And then we find out, okay, Rangashankara is open. But there's a huge protest happening in the morning and tonight as well.
It was
My
the
actors,
CAA protests.
CAA protests, yeah.
Oh,
19.
this was Jan 2020.
2019.
Jan,
No, this is December 2019.
December 2019.
Yeah, and so my actors are already like, oh no, let's go for the protest, and I'm like, no, I can't have you arrested. And then my actors, okay, that's a different story. I'm not going to talk about that now.
Yeah.
Anyway, the next morning we reach Rangashankara. It's chaos. We don't know how many tickets are sold. We don't know if people are coming, if they're going to show up. And then Prajwal is late and he's not picking up his phone. And I'm like, okay, fine. You know what? Maybe he's just stuck in traffic. Maybe his phone is dead, something. And then Prajwal shows up and I'm like, hey, what's up? And he's like, hi. And I'm like, where were you? He's like, the police was giving me chai. And I was like, what? Didn't I say that no one from LPC is entering a CA protest so that none of us get arrested? And he's like, no, it was okay, macha. They left us, macha. It was half an hour I spent with them. My goodness. And okay, fine, I can finish.
This was
the
on
story.
show day? Like,
This is on show day.
So I think that it's that thrill of, okay, you'll like, I think as Prajwal said, like something's like shit's gone down and you're like, but you can't freak out because like the actor, everyone's like depending on that. And then, but like there are other things as well. Like there are some things that you genuinely can't give to another person. Like it has to be one of like the 4 or 5 of us. Like if say like, I don't know, I remember when they were rehearsing at Shunya, I was sitting and printing out stuff for Rangashankara, the tickets, the posts, everything. And
we'd sent someone to print them out and they did a bad job. Like all the tickets were like topsy, the thing wasn't printed properly, and then we had to go like pay double and get everything reprinted, and even then it was.
and Rangashankara has those specifications of tickets.
Yeah, it's crazy. And that guy yelled at us he yelled at Prajwal, poor Prajwal, so much because he was like, oh, your thing is topsy-turvy, what is this? All you amateurs don't know how to do work properly.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, like it has to be one of us because it's not just about like of course it's about the quality, but we're also paying. There's a lot of money involved in the entire process. So it's not like, I mean, it's not the thing that, we don't trust other people with our money, but it's like we're spending a lot. So we need to be sure that this is exactly what we want. That's the material, that's the correct design and all of that. So I remember like 10 people are calling me. I'm sitting at the printer, 10 people are calling me like, where is that, where is this? And then the actors are also like, really, I feel some of them are just like very inconsiderate. No, I'm not going to take names, but I remember like this one person is just like calling for production, like production, and we're like, what is this? Is this like some film set over here? Saying like you're calling for
the
production.
irony was the person that person was calling to was not production. It was not that person's production.
It was very
complicated.
Yeah, so there's a lot of drama happening, which is really it's a lot of fun because like there are 2 people in the corner who's like sitting and ironing. I remember I burnt a hole in the sari, like one of the costumes. The other person's freaking out, and like there's a lot of stuff that happens before a show, and I think that is the best part.
Even during the
like
show, like Alan missing light cues, my actors missing their spot, fucking up things that they practiced 50,000 times. Yeah, all at Rangashankara. Fuck up and Ranga Shankara. Sure, why don't you?
Oh,
Yeah.
like yes to everything, like exact same thing with us, with theater, whatever shows we've done, whatever comedy shows we've done. Yes to everything. That's how it is when you are. Yeah, we're not full professional. We're not full amateur. We're somewhere in the middle. And yeah, that's how it is with theater and these shows. Yeah, but agreed, those few hours before a show, oh man, never I've never performed a show before, like 2 hours before. I would have snapped. I would have snapped, like yelled at someone before going up on stage. If not, I wouldn't have performed that show well. Even if I'm doing an online show, I would have snapped, like I would have just gotten angry. I wouldn't have snapped at my parents, but I would just be angry a couple of hours before the show. And yeah, it's part of the whole process of the performance, I guess.
Improv, like we guys are very methodical and structured when it comes to our shows. Like we have our call lists ready, etc. Like we give proper information, and like yeah, we try to ensure yeah, this is my intro music, this is his intro music. Like we do all of that stuff. But theater, since it's like we're all just starting out and like, oh yeah, I have to get my sofa and then I have to come change into my costume, then I have to act. And when I'm acting, like, okay, he asked me this glass bottle, so did I get that? And then this glass broke, okay, what do we do now? So like all of these stuff, they just keep happening. Oh, someone's calling me for makeup, and then like then one other person will come, but like I am going first, none first mark to makeup, like everything, all of that happening at once. So yeah, theater, it's much more, it's just like, what do you say, it's compounded, the chaos is compounded in theater.
There's a whole theater happening before the theater itself.
Yeah.
Like anything can, like on stage, even the whole practicing 100 times and like fucking up in rehearsal will fuck up, but on stage it will be proper. But just fucking up in rehearsal is so much tension because you're going up on stage a couple of hours from now, you're fucking up now, like, so like, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I
It, like,
have LPC has a rule. We don't allow them to rehearse the morning of the show. It's like,
No, the lighting cues and like,
oh,
those, yeah.
so it's like, yeah, the thing is like they're rehearsing and then like, oh, we'll do audio test, and like, yeah, no, nothing is coming, you need to be louder. And then the light guy is sitting in a corner like, guys, just half an hour for the show, can I get my cues please? So all this, yeah.
And with Vaishak, I think every theater show I've almost acted with him in every production he's been in. I've also been in the same, at least, been in the same production, I guess. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I've seen Vaishak every time it happens with Vaishak. He, in his first ever professional production, he's sitting, he's doing he loves that character. He's doing the performance, and he has to be eating, all right. So he ate, and like, by the time he could swallow it and tell his dialogue, the light guy thought he forgot, and the scene is over. He switched off the light, like half the scene gone. Like they couldn't do anything, and like they just continued with the play with like the next scene, and like, yeah. And one more time, he played my brother, and we were talking, and suddenly his watch fell off. Like nothing happened. Just, but like he didn't hit anyone. He didn't move his hand. It just fell off from his hand. And like he didn't know what to do. He picked it up, he came, sat back in like a place where he had to. And so it happens on stage as well, not just rehearsal.
In college show, I was wearing panche and like no production people were there. So like I'm wearing this panche lungi and like moving sofas in the middle of the play like a penguin, because there's no one to help me. And then like the judges are just watching, because in our college stage, at least, lights off is not lights off. Like everything is visible completely. So it was, and then like in the feedback session, they told it was very disturbing to see that like someone mid scenes move so far like that. So yeah, all of this is there, and like really good. We got a very good insight into your journeys and how all of this good, like I said, good chaotic energy. It's time we acknowledged the chat. We have Giant BS telling, "I love you, Prajwal. I am a big fan." That's one comment. Then Giant BS also told Prajwal OP. So we all of us love Prajwal as well. Do you have any response, Prajwal?
I don't know.
I think you must have a response to the other chat. Bharat says you
Yeah.
have helmet.
I
Bharat
still
V
have
says,
his
Prajwal, bro, my helmet you
helmet.
have, I think. So, is
Prajwal
this
is
good?
Recently, he got stuck. He didn't want to answer.
I gave back the helmet, by the way. Bharat,
Okay.
screw you.
Yeah. Bharat V, the helmet is back. You cannot make these accusations on our live stream.
If you mean
And
like any other helmet or protection, yeah, maybe.
not
Oh,
LPC. This is just Prajwal. Okay. All of these requests can go directly to his personal account.
yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome,
but
guys.
this I have one more question. Right, this is a question I've asked everyone. Like, who it's this fifth episode, I've asked four people. Wo- like pandemic, of course, affected everyone. And like at the beginning, we were like we didn't know what to do. At least, and personally with BBB, what happened was we thought we can just translate what we were doing live to online. Just do whatever you're doing on stage on Zoom. That's it. Like no difference. And it took us a lot of time to realize that it's a whole other platform. It's a whole other way of expressing yourself, and there are different. You can't do the same thing here. And we started experimenting with new things, with which will work entirely on Zoom and like stuff like that. Figuring out how things will work out from now on. What was your journey of obviously we all had plans in like April 2020, May 2020, or whatever, and everything got cancelled, and we had to like restructure. And like, how has the pandemic affected you? Is like the broad question.
Yeah.
LPC, not you.
How has the pandemic affected LPC, and what are your main learnings from that? Is the question. Yeah.
I think I'll take this. We shut off like completely when the pandemic hit us because as you said we didn't know how long it was and we just assumed that it would just be like a couple of weeks, a couple of months. But then I think after like a good 4 5 months we were like, okay, we gotta get back into this game. Things are not looking like it's gonna get better anytime soon. So we started off with as you said, like converting what we used to do live, like on stage to something that we would do on Instagram. So one of our signature events, backyard nights, we started out with that, and we made it as like a series. We used to do it every twice a week for, I think we kept up with that for quite some time. And we had, and I think a great learning in that sense is that we really we know that there is potential like in that because we met some crazy people
She's stuck with my internet's bad.
Yeah, she's stuck. Okay.
Yeah, she's stuck.
Okay, okay, okay.
Hey,
You want to continue, Prajwal? Yeah.
continuing from what Tanya was saying, I guess like we met the people who we wanted to work for the next 1 year at least through these Instagram lives and these backyard nights online and all of that. Uh, if I have to be very fair, I think Tanya took on the most of work, and literally she was the only person who was pushing and going through forward. I don't know if I have to mention this. I know that there was one incident which was very unfortunate what Tanya had to face, and she was just like, no, no, okay, I'm okay. just okay. And she still went on live and she conducted the live, and that really, like, I cannot for the life fathom how much courage and how much of work, how much he literally was the only pole for LPC back then. So I had to acknowledge that. And now she's here, I can stop being nice to her.
Continue, continue. I'm waiting to hear more words, more adjectives, more good things for me. um, so I don't know where I got cut off, but I'm just gonna like
You
keep
told we met really good artists
yeah,
through these.
we met really amazing artists like all over like at least South India. I don't know, probably even North, I guess. But I think like we know that there is potential. We can do a lot. It's just that none of us have that sort of, I don't know, we don't have that knack to do it online. Like we're very like, okay, we need to be physically present. We want to do like actual like live shows on stage. We don't want to do it off like on Zoom or whatever. So I think that's what like I think that was one of the greatest learnings as well. Like we just understood that the online space is not something that any of us are great at, and we're still sort of learning. We're still like we're trying to do it, but we've acknowledged that, and we're just like, okay, there's nothing more we can do about it. But if at all we do have a couple of ideas, then definitely we'll go ahead with it, and we're trying to set up a base. We're trying to do it. So of course we are having like music workshops now. We're getting like a lot of amazing artists who'll come share their experiences, teach like crazy stuff. And we're also doing like we're planning like a play reading next month. So of course we're trying, but we're also like we're not stressing out as much. Like we're not being hard on ourselves, saying like, oh, things are not working out. We're like shit. No, it's like, okay, whatever can be done. But I know for a fact that if we get back to our normal, like going to stage and performing and all that, then if we're being hard on ourselves that time, then I think that's perfectly fine. But like in this space, we're still new to it, so as everyone's saying, we're still figuring it out. And the pandemic has been extremely hard on all of us. um, but I guess it's like everyone's journey, and we're hoping to be back like soon.
We're
I
new to
still,
it. Sorry, continue, Prajwal.
please go ahead.
I was just gonna say that um, absolutely one of the things is that we're new to it, and also what I've been noticing is that I think as a collective also we're starting to grow more comfortable with coming up, even ideating ideas that are purely online. It's taken us a long time. It's taken me a long time to get here, and even now I think Tanya is the one who comes up with most of the online ideas that we have ever had for any event. But we're still learning. I think this third, second, whatever lockdown that we're in right now, I think that kind of forced us to re-examine the fact that perhaps physical thing will not happen for the next year or maybe year and a half. Who knows what's going to happen? Like we have no control over it.
I guess for me, uh, I mean, we came down after the lockdown, the first lockdown, and we did a live show called Revive. And we named it Revive because, like, we are all surviving, pulling through, whatever. And we kind of did that. And honestly speaking, the first Revive, my God, it happened, and I just knew that we are there. Like, we've got it. It was perfect. I mean, all the unfortunate things, whatever could happen, happened that you can't avoid. But once the show was over, we were like, yes, now we are back. And from that day onwards, I think, be it online or offline, we didn't stop. I didn't see us thinking too much about everything. Like it was just that spark that was needed, which Revive gave us, I hope. And from there, a lot more ideas came, a lot more events came, a lot more workshop ideas came, a lot more collaboration happened. We were speaking to a lot of different other people for different other projects as well. We did Revive and we were like, okay, now we can do everything. Come, let's do a play. Now play is also happening. Like it was just a boost of an event, and it happened as a spur of a moment as well. In the spur of moment, like I attended a live show and I came back, and at the same day Alan had told to check out this cafe, it was nice, we can host events and all. That week only, the next day or two, I went there, I spoke to them. They were more than happy to host us. Within 3 days we had the event up and running.
The cafe is called Roost. It's in PTM.
Yeah, within 3 days we hosted a live show after a year almost, and it felt right, you know. It never felt like, okay, why are we doing this, why are we pulling through? No, it was more of like, yes, we belong here, and that gave us more of strength to go ahead and do a lot more. And I guess that's where it was. We had the right people at the right time at the right place, and that's something that has come through all of my things. There were just the right people when I wanted to do something impulsive. And literally, that's how all these three are in the team as well. We wanted to just do impulsive decisions and we are here. I mean, that's not a good thing per se. We also learn to be not impulsive and be a little more structured or a little more mm, patient, kind, whatever the words you want to use. But
Calculated.
yeah, but we're getting there. I guess we can cut some slack off ourselves and say that we're getting there. And yeah,
Yeah, definitely that whole the live, when you go on live after like almost a year, it just feels different, feels good. Like you could have done a live show every weekend in a month before the pandemic. For every, like, for a year, every month you do 4 live shows uh, before the pandemic. But just that one show after the year break felt good. Like even we did like a live show, very small, 20 people, similar, like we did it in a ice cream cafe, ice cream parlor. It was like we didn't comedically, we didn't, it wasn't our best, but just the feeling of being live is, then we felt, then we knew, we're like, yeah, this is why we do it. Like this is why we do the clerical work, this is why we do all the planning, this is why we have the fights that we have while planning. But it's just a different feeling, I agree.
Yeah, awesome. And we are ending, nearing the end of our conversation, not ending the near. I do this mistake every podcast. Okay, so we will end with uh, a wholesome question, which I asked last time as well. What are the pieces of art that inspire you personally, that you recommend other people check out, or where do you derive your inspiration from? And your general closing remarks.
I see silence. And I think I'll start.
Yeah, give objective answers, subjective answers, anything.
Yeah. I think like two pieces of work that inspire me and that I would want everyone to try checking out would be, there's a show called Mr. Robot, And Mr. Robot is essentially, in my personal opinion, the epitome of perfect planning. I mean, I've seen. I identify myself as a movie buff, and I'm not like a huge series guy. And it was like on one fine day that I stumbled upon Mr. Robot because I was bored out of my mind, and that the biggest takeaway from that piece of art, as I'd like to call it, is the proper planning. I mean, it's essentially success achieved in all the departments. It's proper, well-planned cinematography, well-planned storytelling, well-planned music, beautiful acting, on-point casting, and a great character arc drawn out over a course of 4 seasons. Definitely, it's worth checking out. And assuming you don't have the kind of commitment you need to go through 4 seasons and spending time and energy to watch this. Another thing that I am inspired by and I would like to recommend to people would be this comedy called Community. Again, it's a comedy. I mean, like on in first impressions, it comes off as, yeah, it's a comedy, what can be done. But within 20 minutes, like how they tell a story, 20 minutes, like see each episode, it feels like a movie. Like every episode deals with a totally different concept. They go crazy with the concepts. It's not like your typical Office or Parks and Rec, where the form of comedy is, or the form of visual comedy is something along the lines of improv. It takes, it utilizes various advantages given by visual treatment, and it goes crazy with the kind of stories it deals. It kind of, at times it can be very meta, at times it can be very action movie-esque. But again, it's peak storytelling. How to tell a well structured, well framed story within 20 minutes. Community is like the best answer. Yeah, that's all from my end.
Yeah, I've also been meaning to watch Community. After that, I think I will start it tonight.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful show.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll go next. One,
When
I'm
I
a
see the
designer.
silence, I am like, yo, what the hell?
Yeah, even I can't take silence. So I think one, I'm a designer. So one of my favorite designers is Dieter Rams. So something that I think something that I really resonate with is like keeping it simple and minimalistic. So really, yeah, some of his principles, I really enjoy that and resonate with it. So that's something that you should totally check out. And I mean, it's not just applicable only in the design world. You can obviously replicate it in like various fields. So very apt. And second one is a movement or a performance artist called Marina Abramovich. I don't think I pronounced it correctly, but she's super experimental, and I can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, because it's a like unstable connection. Yeah. So I really enjoy her work because as I said, very experimental, and like it's just weird, and I enjoy such weird things. And maybe that's why I'm weird, I don't know. But and in general, like there are a lot of other dance companies that I follow, and they have like some crazy visuals. They do really crazy things. They'll probably just stand there and just let people slap them, or they would just stand there and look at people and or just bounce around. And like sometimes they have a deeper meaning, sometimes they don't, but as I said, like it just makes other people think, and that experimental thing is like extremely like interesting. And yeah, so that's one performance artist. So yeah, who
Yeah,
wants to go next?
Data Rams actually, yeah, the 10 laws of design or whatever that thing
Yeah,
makes sense that you can use it on like in other fields other than design as well. Yeah.
definitely, like I think that can be applied in set design, like
Yeah.
absolutely. So
Prajwal, Ragni.
Um, could you like repeat the question if that's okay? I kind of zoned out when you guys.
I mean, like, take a guess. What could the question be like?
What performing arts inspires you? Is that the question?
Yeah,
Okay,
more
What?
or less.
okay. Um. Okay. My answer. Okay. So it kind of depends on my mood. If I'm sometimes it's novels, it's literature that kind of inspires me. Sometimes it's art. I personally I love looking at Van Gogh when I'm pissed off with the world, and when I want to calm myself down, I look at Monet, and I think like classical art has this beautiful way of just kind of like stabilizing you, centering you. Um, but right now, I'm kind of obsessed with live singing musicals. Um, I'd say my favorite musical ever is Hadestown. The album's on Spotify and everything, and it's beautiful. Please check it out. And then there's a TV show called Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. It's on Sony Live. It is amazing. Also, because like for me, a good theater, good music is when you can close your eyes and you can still hear the emotions. Because sometimes, especially with like mediums that multimedia mediums, kind of just tend to focus on like one thing or the other. But like Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist, you have these moments of huge poignancy, which are just like which deal with grief and love and just acceptance, and it's just, I think the way someone can emote without actually emoting is one of the most intricate and beautiful human things, and that is what kind of inspires me. Yeah.
Awesome.
Nice.
Uh, I think I will take like forever to finish this answer. Uh,
Please.
um, but if I have to start, Ulidavaru Kandante, the movie, was the first time ever I went mad. And after that, nothing in my life was uh, going on a smooth road. I That's when I shifted my interests in what I want to do to like films and all when I watched it back in 2014. But that gave me like a doorway to see what all uh, works are there out, and I have to say I'm a huge Lars von Trier fan. So of course I can't have a conversation about Lars von Trier and not mention Dancer in the Dark. And yeah, hands down my favorite musical, and hands down one of my all-time favorite movies. Then there is a Bengali movie called Meghado Ka Tara, which came out in 2014 with Shashwata Chatterjee. It is a retelling of the original director of Meghado Ka Tara, Hrithik Ghatak. And I have to say, I think hands down, literally one of the best Indian movies I've ever seen. And Geetu Mohandas is one person who really inspires me in terms of filmmaking. In terms, Geetu Mohandas and Zoya Akhtar, Shonali Bose, these three women have a huge impact on me, and for a very particular reason. Masculinity, in essence, is a concept I have been dealing with myself, and to see these women put out extraordinary men on screen uh, really resonates how much of an impact a film has on people. And it doesn't have to be these men who are glorified. idiotically. No, I want to be the man in those women's eyes. Like, that is how I view my masculinity as well. Uh, and of course, me being from the place I am, until almost 12th grade, I'd never watched an English movie fully, start to finish. And all that I watched was Kannada. And I was like, oh, Karnataka Mate, oh, Jai Karnataka. I was like that guy. And during that, of course, I did find like a lot of works that I resonated with in terms of course, Rakshit Shetty has a huge influence. But at the same time, I went back to these old films of Girish Karnad or Girish Kasravalli, and that gave me a whole new outlook on why or what I want to do in life. My turning point of my entire thought process would be going to Kerala, Kochi for Benale, and it that that experience, what I had there, has made me the person I am now, and I can't wait to go back there. And one day I can't wait to have a Binalesque uh, installation art festival in Bangalore. That is my dream. Uh, One day we will, as Last Page Collective. Um, these are all the things that are secondary for me. The first and foremost thing is music. Like, there is nothing in the world which is more important for me than that. And I can listen to AR Rahman day in and day out and die and get reborn and listen and die and reborn. Everything. And consider him as a god, although I am an atheist. The same goes with Ilayaraja, and the same goes with all the other beautiful musicians who I've been working with, had the pleasure to listen to. And the one thing that really inspires me is my contemporaries who are doing work and who are creating some amazing, amazing work. Like I mentioned this earlier as well. In a conversation, I used a line from Math, which Sam wrote, because that had a deep impact on me as well.
Which one?
It was about growing, it was about retrospection or something. Okay. I told you only wrote it. It was in Math, and I used it against you. In fact, that was the best part. So, and that's the thing. I'm inspired by what my contemporaries do. Whenever Tanya comes with me for whatever she's uh, doing for an audition or whatever design she's made, I mean, she won't show all the works and all, but whatever she says, I get ideas from that, from what work Alan does, which I don't think I can do in my life to save myself. It's something that I really enjoy and look forward to. And and it's not just these people, right? Like there are so many people. Like for example, we are conducting a workshop with Nadani in some time. Tanya was just telling how she's been waiting, like we are the exclusive people to hear their music and all that. It's so important for us. It's so important for us to like be around good work, be around good people who really inspire us. And yeah, I think nothing can come close to what I've experienced in terms of my contemporaries, and of course all the other works that have been influencing me throughout. uh, I met this beautiful duo band called Mantalai. Uh, Siddhant Sundar and Arjun Chandran. My God, when you listen to them, you just want to die there because you don't want anything else to like go inside your ears. Like that's it. That's all you want to do. And they are people who've really like made it according to me. Like when you know that you've grasped everyone in your wrist, right? Like that's when you know like you've done something. And yeah, I'm for me selfishly, I work with people who I want to, who inspire me. And yeah,
Beautiful answers from all of you, man. Like, yeah. Like,
Awesome. We will definitely. What do you say? Thank you first off for like recommending and like. It's nice to see the human side of things as well. And one of the reasons why we do this podcast is to like just stop by and go inside our brains and see what our biases are and what what just comes out of our mouths when we speak. So it's awesome. And first off, yeah, thank you all so much for taking time to do this. And you have a workshop at 4, and all the best, and like hope that goes really well. So yeah, A, thank you all so much for doing this. And B,
Been a pleasure.
yeah, and like B, you guys doing LPC will birth more LPCs, right? So thank you for being that space, and I'm sure like there are other Tanyas and Prajwals and Samraginis and Allens who are met via LPC, and they're going to start their own stuff. So thank you all so much for that. Thank you for giving your time, and people who are watching till now. Like I say, you are the true OGs and you are true Ashutosh Gaurikar fans because you have stayed for such a long time. And Last Page Collective socials are down below: their Instagram, their Facebook, and mainly their blog. The link is down below. Please go check it out, and we will say bye and end the
thank
podcast.
you. Keep waving till we.
All of you.
Yeah.
thank you for having us.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we're gonna have some meetings in our organizational room. Use this.
Thank you for inviting us. This has been loads of fun.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Same
You
here.
need to
Always
say
a pleasure.
then